So let's dive into the charts, and we're beginning with the diamonds. And I just want to emphasize, this has become a very chart-friendly market. What do I mean by chart-friendly? Well, you kind of know already. Basically, things behave themselves. Things obey trend lines and gaps and support and resistance. It seems to have a positive relationship with those drawn objects that I slap on the screen. And that's good, because it's like all I do is my only skill is to draw charts. For whatever reason, the market's behaving itself. It's doing what it's supposed to do. And that was the point I was making with a gentleman this morning, that when you saw me, a couple of you might have this morning, I was losing money. Almost all my positions were going against me, maybe even every one. And I was like, sucks, but I don't care, because it's behaving itself. This is kind of what it should be doing. And that seemed sort of cavalier at the time, but that was right. Because you know what? My day went from a kind of an ugly loss to a really nice gain. And I didn't do anything. All I did was adjust, out of 34 positions, I loosened up one stop, just because it was a little bit too tight. And that's it. So added to which, the day's been really dynamic, because we peaked about a half hour into the day. It plunged like crazy for about 2.5 hours. And then it recovered like crazy, almost exactly in the middle of those two. And as it is now, we're weakening. We started green, we went red, then we were mixed, and now we're getting red again. And I've made money in both directions, because I was trading SOXS as we were tumbling. And believe it or not, Mr. Permabear here actually bought SOXL, the triple bullish one, pretty near the bottom. And now I don't have any position. It's like, okay, plain triple leverage all day long, that's enough. So it's like I'm satisfied to put it out of the way. But it's been a very fascinating day because of all that dynamism going on. And of course, tomorrow is the CPI. So maybe that'll shake things up some more. But as we look at the diamond, we can see that chart friendliness going on here. Where was the bottom today? Well, it was just about at this line right here. That line represents the former peak way, way, way back in the day. We won't go back too far. But more importantly, and we're seeing this everywhere, is we have broken the uptrend. Now, the timing of this varies. Some of these uptrends were broken on Friday. Some, like the diamonds, have been relatively robust, and it broke it only today. In fact, and let's drink in this fact, the Dow was at its highest level in human history on Friday. So what feels like, oh, it's a bear market. I mean, we were at lifetime highs on Friday. Today is Tuesday, as we've established. And, that's pretty cool because there's a lot of juicy opportunities out there, I think, which is why I have 35 short positions now. As I said, I was having fun with something I'd never traded before until last week, but have had good results so far. SOXS. This is the triple bearish against semiconductors. You can see that, back in the day, it just fell every single day. Look at this. Because why? Because semiconductors were so strong. And then we're getting kind of a change here, aren't we? Because two things are happening. One, we ain't going down every day. And two, the range has expanded greatly. I mean, these are gigantic compared to what we used to be doing. And just Friday, Monday, and Tuesday alone have been a treasure chest of opportunities in both directions. So that's pretty spiffy. So I made mention yesterday about how I was going long at SOXS, and I came into that long today and was worried if I'd look crazy or not. Well, no, I didn't look crazy. It actually worked out. It opened rather weak, but we've got a bullish engulfing pattern here, and it's been a good day. There's other aggressive instruments also. Did I lose my cursor again? Okay, check and trade. Hang on. Yes, haha. I've been doing this since 1979. I get along with them okay. but computers still suck, right? Honest to God. 1979 have been doing this, and they're still kind of broken. The cursor just disappeared. Computers kind of work. Don't worry about you losing your job to them, and it's not going to happen. SQQQ. This is the triple bearish, I think, against the cubes. Either double or triple, I'm not sure. But it's up almost 6%, and same idea. Teeny little ranges down every single day. Boring. Tim is so sad. And then finally, on Friday, it's like paddles to the chest. Boom. Blasting higher on Friday. Kind of hanging out an inside day yesterday, and then blasting higher today. Even higher than Friday. So, yeah, cool beans, right? Emerging markets, EEM. This is kind of interesting because I'm going to hit that chart-friendly theme again. Look at what's going on here. And we talked about this morning with respect to changing the role of the line from support to resistance. And so here's the EEM, the emerging markets. It steadfastly stayed above this trend line until Friday. Friday, it leaped to the other side. It didn't even mess around with it. It just put on its sneakers, took a running start, and jumped to the other side of the trend line. And look what it's been doing ever since. This is amazing to me. The high on Friday, perfectly touching the broken trend line. Yesterday, nothing. Just kind of hung out. Today, opened strong. Rallied even. Touched to the penny that broken trend line. So that's pretty right on. That's how it's supposed to work. I also want to point out Nvidia. This is a big deal. I've been talking about this almost on a daily basis. This is the largest company in the world. I guess it's still largest. The way it's withering away, maybe not anymore, but it's multi-trillion-dollar company. I think it's still the biggest. And we've talked about that, and like on a daily basis, we review that we've had this range for 10 months. It broke out, and it has slipped back into the range. This is absolutely a failed bullish breakout. And there's been no bad news. There hasn't been any bad news. But the bad news is coming. And there will be news about data centers getting canceled and CEOs saying this AI stuff ain't really giving us the ROI, so we're canceling these projects. And private credit blowing up, and we can't build this or that because we can't find access to capital. All that bad news is coming. There ain't none of that yet. And yet, we're still slipping, cracking, crumbling. These are like the early warning shots. And as I keep saying, SpaceX is going to be a huge psychological measure. I'll say it again. I'll say it tomorrow. I'll say it on Thursday. Unless they knock it out of the park, unless SpaceX has a fantastic day and closes strong, people are going to freak out. It has to be a success. And, the opening price is 130. The offering price is 135. It better be like 200 something. People will flip their wigs if it isn't. Things are breaking down. That had been steadfastly going up. Here's AXTI. This is measured in weeks now. Down. So the lifetime high stuff seems to have stopped for the time being. Micron, I mentioned him earlier because he was very strong this morning. Look at that. The open was the high for the day. And my stop had been, if you care, and you shouldn't, the stop had been set right at that gap. So obviously it would have been stopped out. I loosened it up to this gap instead. I've retightened it down to here, but I would have been stopped out and missed out on a nice tumble there. So anyway, that is moot at this point. Micron's down about 5.5%. Intel, which is one of my put positions, had a big pop yesterday. It completely unwound at some point today, but now it is still down 4.3%. AMD down about 5.5%. So you can see that lifetime highs, maybe they were a week ago, maybe they were 2 weeks ago, but the daily lifetime highs have stopped. And SMH, this is an exemplar of chart friendliness because we smashed past this on Friday, and the best efforts yesterday merely kissed the underside of the trend line, and the same deal. We opened strong. We beat yesterday's highs. and we rallied, and we did not get past the trend line. This is resistance now. It is a new market. 99.99% of the people out there don't realize that yet. You do, because you're hanging out here with me. So they don't know. They don't know. They are operating in the dark. Here's South Korea, EWY, down 2.35%. Nice price gap there. That's resistance now. I haven't even tried a trend line on this. Let's just do it for fun. I mean, it's not really jumping out at me as something compelling, but, well, shut my mouth. It is. That's nice. Okay. So that's nice too. And Koru, which is the leveraged instrument against, or for South Korea, getting hit hard too, getting to levels today lower than even Friday. And this was a 50% tumble on that day. Dell, which only last week was at highs never seen before, is burning off that day by day. And I'm just at least hanging on to this price gap close. And Axon, the maker of tasers and body cams, I shorted this one, I don't know, on Friday maybe? I don't know, I think so. But it's been a good one. There's been 3 big red bars in a row, and I'm gonna hang on to this one. I think it's got plenty more downside. Here's one you've never seen before. I've never touched it until yesterday. FTNT Fortinet. See, I don't even know the name of the company. FTNT. 3 red bars there too. Corning, we all know that one. GLW. This one's down almost 10%. The horizontal line of mystery. We're going to delete that. Oh, and another one here. There, you're gone. Corning down nicely. Here's a couple of ones that opened strong, but it held on tight. STM, shorted this one yesterday. ST Microelectronics. Seagate, STX, the former darling of the market, peaked last week, and this is down again today nicely, having broken that trend line. So all kinds of good stuff going on. WDC, very related to that. Western Digital, also well below its trend line. So all kinds of good things are happening. All kinds of good things. With SpaceX looming, the kind of proxies for it, the miniature versions that people have been trading because there wasn't any SpaceX are dying too because they don't need them anymore. They're going to get the real thing on Friday, for better or worse. Rocket Lab falling again. It's been falling steadily for the past couple of weeks. And then the complete garbage stocks out there that rallied, like Virgin Galactic. Remember this one? The idea was that people would mistype the symbol. That's how pathetic things have gotten. People are relying on typos as a basis for investments. So this exploded higher and it's starting to shrink. I have every confidence this will be a penny stock in a year or so. And then Momentous, which is down, I think, 99.99% from its peak. It had its own little day in the sun too. But once SpaceX is out, these guys are just irrelevant. Gosh, I'm almost out of time. The next huge block of symbols was going to basically make the point of precious metals continue to stink. And I think they will keep doing so. I actually came into the day long palladium and got out lickety-split. Made about 2.5% overnight on that, but I looked and it's like, wow, precious metals are ugly. So I didn't want to stick around. So no positions there. We'll just jump to the very, very, very bottom of the list. Japoing. This is the NQ, the NASDAQ, down almost 500 points. This is a good example of the trend line having broken a while ago because we were starting to tickle and tease it here and there. And then Thursday we broke it clearly, and Friday was the big day. Today hasn't been quite as dramatic in NQ land as Friday was, although today's lows beat Friday's. But the cold fact of the matter is this is clearly a broken uptrend. We're in a new market now, and the CPI will help inform the day tomorrow. But I think we've got a nice zone of resistance overhead, some overhead supply that'll help hold things back. Okay, well, that is it from me, and I'll see you here tomorrow.